Hello guys, welcome to the course of CodeIgniter for Spark CLI tutorial. Inside this video, we will see installation of CodeIgniter for startup using Composer. If I back to slide, so this is very first video, and inside this video, we will install CodeIgniter for startup inside our local system. And we will use the process of Composer. Apart from Composer installation, also we have multiple options to install CodeIgniter for startup inside our local system. Either we can go with manual installation process. Inside this manual installation, we need to download the setup of CodeIgniter 4 and install into our local machine. Now the second option, we have the Composer installation, and I will recommend please go and install CodeIgniter for startup using Composer. And in third, we have the option of cloning GitHub repository. It means CodeIgniter 4 also have a GitHub repository. Simply we need to clone that and install to our local system. So inside this course, inside this very first video, we will install CodeIgniter for startup using Composer. So if I back to its official website, so first thing first, what is CodeIgniter and what this 4 means? So in a single line, CodeIgniter is a PHP frameworks which works on the principle of MVC architecture. M stands for model, V stands for views, and C stands for controllers. And this 4 indicates all about the version of this CodeIgniter framework. To install this CodeIgniter 4 framework inside this local system, we need to go inside this download section. Inside this download section, here we can see that here we have a section of CodeIgniter 4. If I scroll down, also we are getting another section of CodeIgniter 3. Straightforward, we can see here that CodeIgniter 3 is the legacy version of this framework. It means it is the old version. The current version of this CodeIgniter framework is CodeIgniter 4, which is the latest version of this framework intended for use with PHP 7.3. What is the meaning of this line intended for use with PHP 7.3? So before going with CodeIgniter for startup, we need to make sure that our system should have at least the PHP version equals to 7.3. So if I go inside this terminal, we need to confirm the PHP version first. So PHP -v is the command to check the PHP version of the system. So if I press enter, now as we can see inside my system, the current PHP version is 7.4.14. So we are good to go with CodeIgniter for startup. Now if I back to official website, so if you want to work with CodeIgniter for startup, CodeIgniter for application, so your system should have the at least PHP version equals to 7.3. And the current version of this CodeIgniter for framework is 4.1.8. Now to install this setup, we need to go inside this user guide. This is all about the documentation, and inside this documentation, if I scroll down, here we can see inside this installation section, here we have Composer installation. Now inside this Composer installation, if I scroll down, as we can see here we have a command given. Simply to install CodeIgniter for startup into our local system by the help of Composer, we need to execute this command. So before executing this Composer command, also we have to make sure that our system should have Composer installed, because we are using Composer, and Composer is a dependency manager. If I back to terminal, so to confirm, to verify that my system has Composer installed or not, so the simplest way, simply type Composer inside your command prompt or inside terminal, and if I press enter after typing Composer, now we can see we have a bulk command list, and these all commands are coming because my system has Composer installed. Apart from this screen, if you are getting suppose any type of message like Composer package not found, Composer has not been installed, so it means you need to first install Composer in your system. or you can go with the other options of installation like manual or GitHub repository. Now simply, my system has PHP version 7.4.14 and Composer has been installed. So simply, I will copy that command. I will copy this Composer command, go here. So right now currently I am inside this var www.html and learn-ci4. So simply, I will paste that command what we have copied. So the command is composer create-project CodeIgniter 4 / app starter project-root. So project-root is the project folder name. Now let's change that. So we want to learn Spark CLI. So let's say Spark -CLI. Now if I press enter, as we can see that the installation process now is started. It will take few minutes, and successfully, as we can see that the installation has now completed. So if I clear this screen and if I type ls to list all files and folders, so currently inside this folder learn-ci4 we have a new folder created called Spark-CLI, which is the CodeIgniter for setup what we have installed. If I back to folder structure, this is the folder what we have downloaded, and this is a CodeIgniter for setup. If we go inside this folder, now inside this setup we have multiple folders and multiple files. Now next, we need to execute or run this application into browser. So to run this application into browser, we have two options. Either we can enter the manual URL of this project like up to this Spark-CLI, or the second option, which is the best option, to use the Spark command. So we will go and use Spark command to launch this application. So simply, if I back to terminal, and first of all we need to go inside this folder because this folder is our setup. So cd Spark-CLI. Now we are inside this Spark-CLI. We will use the Spark command to launch our development server. So PHP Spark serve. If you don't know that what we are doing here, so don't worry at all. We are going to discuss all about Spark CLI commands inside this course. So serve is also a Spark CLI command, so we will see in detail in upcoming videos. Now simply, if I press enter, now as we can see that here we can see into a single line that CodeIgniter version 4.1.8 command line tool, and the development server has been started. This is the URL which is using the PHP version 7.4.14, and the server has been started at the port 8080. So simply, to access our application we need to open this URL. So back to browser, let's type localhost 8080. If I press enter, now as we can see that this is our landing page of the latest version of CodeIgniter 4, that is 4.1.8. We are getting this landing page. It means this is the successful installation of CodeIgniter for setup. If you are getting something different kind of a screen apart from this, it means you will have some error. So to get rid of that, simply inside this setup you need to give the proper permission to this writable folder, because inside this writable folder we have a cache folder, and to actually execute this application we need to make sure that this folder should have all permissions of read and write. So apart from this landing page, if you are getting something different like a error page or some kind of different page, so in that situation you need to give a proper permission to this writable folder. So after giving this permission like read and write, probably you will get this landing page. So hopefully guys, we have just started our Spark CLI tutorial, and this is our very first video. So inside this video we had discussed that how can we install CodeIgniter for setup using Composer. So in the next video we will see all about Spark CLI command list. So for this video session guys, thank you for watching and have a great day.